Welcome to Tech Tips, a source for tips for the tools we use every day. Today's tech tip is for the Sharp EL-520 calculator and how to use the memory functions.
Looking at the calculator, there are 6 possible storage spaces A through F shown with the red arrows on the screen. Storage spaces X, Y, and M are also available on the next row of buttons down. To store a number, you simply push the storage button and then the letter of the space you'd like to use. To recall, simply push the recall button and then the letter of the storage space you'd like to recall. Let's take a look at an example. The first thing we will do is store a series of numbers in the calculator's memory. Then we will recall those numbers and apply them in a mathematical formula. To store memory A, for store memory C, 6 store memory F, and finally 8 store memory X. Now that the numbers are stored in the calculator's memory, we will recall in the mathematical equation. Recall memory A multiplied by recall memory C multiplied by recall memory F multiplied by recall memory X is equal to 384. Now let's take a look at how to use this memory function to solve a practical electrical circuit. Here we're given a basic series circuit with a DC power supply and 2 values of resistance. The DC power supply will have a potential difference of 12 volts. R1 will have a resistance of 2.4 ohms, and R2 will have a resistance of 5.6 ohms. We will use these values to calculate the current flowing in the circuit. To solve the current of the circuit, we will have to use 2 mathematical formulas. First of all, the resistance total, which is simply R1 plus R2. And secondly, Ohm's law, where we will divide our source voltage by our total resistance in order to calculate the current of the circuit. We're going to begin by entering in our source voltage of 12 volts and storing it as memory A. Step 1 will be to calculate our total resistance, which is simply R1 plus R2. We'll enter 2.4 ohms plus 5.6 ohms to give us a total resistance of 8 ohms. We will store this 8 ohms as memory B. Step 2 in calculating the circuit current will be to divide our source voltage by our total resistance. To do this, I will recall memory A, which brings up the 12 volts which we entered in earlier, and I will divide this by memory B, the 8 ohms total resistance we just calculated, to give us a value of 1.5. Therefore, the current in this series circuit is 1.5 amps. Thank you for watching Tech Tips.